left branch.
White crown shrike.
White crown shrike.
Oh, well spotted, Herman. White crown shrike. One of the social shrike species. Live in family groups.
A little bit for me, please. That's good. Just another.
Smooth. Oh well, on we go. Can, although we no blue signal until after the next dip.
Hello everyone, this is Catherine in Final Control. We're just doing a quick cut to gallery while Mark goes through the dip, and once he's up at the top again and we've got full picture, we'll cut straight back to him.
Welcome back to the vehicle. We are a little bit further east now. It's going through that signal patch. the signal shadow going through that dip, heading up towards Wiffelshoek Dam, and then we'll go up to Cheetah Cut Line, head south, see if we can pick up on that rhino that was found a little while ago by one of the staff vehicles from Juma Game Reserve. I'm just finding some tracks, and they're not too fresh, but it can give me some idea of animal movement. Way too much sand inside the tracks. Tony, hi Tony K, welcome. Thanks for the question. Well, Tony wanted to know what language I was speaking earlier when Million was calling in that rhino. It was kind of a broken Zulu, or not even broken Zulu, kind of language we call Fanagalo. The South African equivalent of Swahili. Swahili is a language used in East Africa, and although it is a much wider used language, Swahili is a language that was developed because there's so many different tribal groups in East Africa speaking so many different languages that it was necessary to create one language that everybody could speak. And then when you went back to your own tribal area, of course you spoke your own home language. And Swahili actually is an official language of the country, of say Kenya, Tanzania, I think Uganda as well. Swahili and English. Whereas Fanagalo was it's a bastardized language. It's a language that has been culled from several languages, including English, Afrikaans, Zulu, Xhosa, Sotho, Swati, Sesotho, a whole bunch of languages that have also just been thrown into the mix to create a language that was understood or easy to learn by any of the tribal groups. And mainly the language came from the times of the mines, when migrant workers flooded the gold mines in the days of manual gold mining. Well, I mean, even these days with mechanized mining, there's still a fairly large labor force. But with these migrant workers coming in from all over the country, it was necessary to create a language that everybody could understand underground, especially with regards to safety. And it wasn't really, I see dwarf mongoose in the road up ahead. See if we can just coast down towards them, get a little bit closer. They're all running off into the grasses. And the language didn't really get much further than the mines. Occasionally it was used out on the farms. Normally we speak Shangaan in this part of the world. But since Million was talking Fanagalo, I answered him in Fanagalo. I think it's more closely related. It's closer to Zulu as a language than any other. I'm guessing they might have gone to that termite mound. No sign of them. There were some dwarf mongoose. And we'll be lucky enough to find some more later on. Let's go to Wiffelshoek Dam, greet some hippo, maybe see something else that might be around. Snake track. Excuse me, doves. There are them. stopping. I don't know if you, can you get that yellow fruit that we have here is the fruit of the solanum plant. This is the solanum next to me. We've seen them in summer, the lovely purple flower with the yellow center, and that is the fruit of it. Very similar to a tomato. It is the same family, same as the potato family, the aubergine family, except this is highly poisonous. In fact, the name is deadly nightshade, or dodelijke nachtskade in Afrikaans. Solanum, I'm not too sure which species of solanum. There's a very strong ammonia smell here from the hippo dung. Hippo's been spraying his dung here. I can move back a little bit, maybe we can see the dung too. But as poisonous as it is for humans, there are animals that can eat it. I've seen kudu eating solanum with no side effect. Different alkaloids and different properties in plants have different effects on different animals. And where it's poisonous for one, it's maybe not poisonous for another. It depends on how it reacts with the particular animal. Let's go back a little bit and see how this hippo has spread its dung out a little bit. An advertisement, advertising to any other. Is that good enough? Can you get low enough? There's some very, very old dung in the grass. That's obviously the same hippo that's depositing dung in the same place. Kind of like a marker, like a signpost, well, it is. It's a very strong marker to other individuals that are coming through the area. Any other hippo will be able to smell who it was. They'll get an idea of age and health and mating condition and dominance. Normally a hippo walks through the dung, gets the scent all over their feet, and they'll walk that scent all over their pathways. The hippo have very, very distinct pathways through the bush if they're not using the roads, because of the way they shuffle their feet. That's more like a little double path as opposed to the single path of most other animal pathways. Story goes about the hippo who used to live out of the water, and it got too hot and uncomfortable for the hippo. So the hippo asked the creator if it could live in the water. The creator said, you may, on condition that you don't eat the fish. And now the hippo has to come out of the water and spread its dung out with the bones in its dung. Stay in the water. Rather sensitive skin, hippo. They do exude sunblock. Acts also does have antibiotic properties for scratches and injuries. As we're getting to Buffelshoek Dam, a little bit of sunlight coming through. Oh, I see a kingfisher. I'm going to do something different. Just going to make our way down to the edge of the water here. Let's see a pied kingfisher sitting on the edge of the water. Maybe we can watch it catching something. I'm not too sure what the fish population would be like in this dam. But certainly a lot of frogs, xenopus frogs, and the xenopus frogs have got tadpoles that are free swimming like fish. In fact, they look like juvenile catfish. Going over this round leaf teak, it should pop up behind us. Oh, dikkops were roosting here. reason why I wanted to come out this way was just in case the crocodile is still here. Thought maybe we'd get a glimpse if it is still in this part of it. We don't really get to see this little arm of the dam. I think by this time last year this was already starting to, the water was already starting to retreat from here. So definitely a lot fuller this time than it was last time, or this year than it was last year the same time. A short while ago this pair of kingfishers that are living here had 3 youngsters that they were feeding. We'll see if we can see how many there are this afternoon. There we go. Missed. And spied something else. You're able to keep up.
What do you mean?
A lot of energy that it's got to burn hovering, and then it'll go off and rest. As the dry season comes on, the water actually starts getting a little bit clearer. It makes it a lot easier for them to see some of these things just below the surface. So far at least one hippo further up in the dam. We'll get to see him a little bit later. I just want to see this kingfisher for a while.
Can anyone do an update for Susie, please?
So far nothing yet, Susie.
Has anyone checked that Ingwe Bamba?
Not aware of an Ingwe Bamba. Where was it?
There was one this morning on the Gallagher access road. We'll go up there now.
Okay, copy, Josh. This is Mark at Safari TV. That's not my jurisdiction, so I can't go there.
Sorry.
That's okay, but you could always bring the nyama this side of Biffles or Cutline for me, and maybe the leopard will come back. Okay, pied kingfishers
On the other side of the dam.
on the other side of the dam, where we're going to be going shortly. I'm just going to get out a second. I want to check something. Pardon?
Just quite a big log.
Okay, I'll have a look at it in a sec.
What is that? What is that?
I think it's crocodile dung.
Mark is saying he thinks it's possibly some crocodile dung.
Not fresh, of course. quite possible. It was. It would be a very dry time of the year for a crocodile moving around, if he had been, unless it's still around here somewhere. And as soon as a vehicle comes by, it gets very quiet. Excuse me, little acacia. Up after the vehicle. Clearing up quite nicely this afternoon. The blue sky to the south, southwest. Afternoon, Texan. Yeah, I've done Aubrey's and Gallagher shortcut, and I'm at Buffelshoek Dam now. So far, nothing.
Okay, couple thanks. Yeah, I'm gonna go Galago sorry, VTL access, then check Sandy Patch, check actually I'm a fuzzy Ingwe at the Bamba there, but I don't think she went back there. And I hear the report from the guys. They said there was an Ingwe on just at the southern side of Sydney's Dam at the far break there. Was just trying to go for Impala.
Yeah, I couldn't quite get to. I was on the fire break, but I only made it about halfway down from Gallagher's shortcut to Sydney's Dam, and I couldn't go much further than that. I believe there was an Ingwe with a bumper on Gallagher access.
There's something going on.
Changed the Yama and she moved off, and we went there. That my daughter also was off, so I think it was Jordan. Try to go and check the area again. Maybe he might come back.
Okay, copied. Yeah, I'm just gonna go check out some marla colouring here at Buffelshoek Dam.
Okay, copy, thanks.
Okay, let's get to the other side. There are some impala that are. Are you on there?
Yeah.
Those impala are. Okay, we'll do. Impala are alerted with something on the other side of the dam. Let's try and get there. Jackson, come in. Yeah, Million was saying something about Nkombi up on Cheetah Cut line, Gary May, and somewhere up there. Yeah, I'm on Buffelshoek. If I don't find anything now with the ball, I'll go up to Cheetah Cut line and stretch around. Luri's starting to shout now. See what these impala are skittish about. If anything, come back and greet the hippo shortly. What's up, children? Why are you so skittish today? Small group. A couple of young rams that were born last year. And all looking up that way. Very nervous. Partly because of the weather and a little bit of the wind. The Swainson's Franklin here. Oh, that's Natal. What am I saying? That's Natal. Forget. Confused now. Having a put my nose in here and have a look. Definitely showed some concern in this direction. Bunched together.
Trying that when I do that.
Hi there, Ed. While we're looking around here for something that somehow startled those impala. Ed wants to know if a coalition of male lion is going to be stronger than a single male. Well, very much so, Ed. Simple numbers, simple maths there. Turn that down a bit. And a single male lion holding a territory with a group of females and cubs, a pride of lion that is ruled by a single male, is very, very vulnerable to a coalition of males. Even if it was just two males, the fact that two males can take out a single male so much easier, especially when you've got three or more males forming a coalition. They can become a formidable force. They can become an unbeatable force. And it can actually be good for a local pride, because if they were to take over, it can ensure the survival of youngsters. A coalition not only better than a single male in terms of spreading the genes around, but also in terms of the strength to bring down larger items, larger prey items. Providing enough food for the pride, providing enough food to raise youngsters, but also just the whole protection thing. I mean, a lot of discussion has been had over new males coming into a territory, killing off the existing cubs from the male that they have taken over from. And when you've got a very strong coalition, you can ensure that these cubs are going to survive into sub-adulthood long enough to be able to leave the pride and head out on their own if they were males, or join up with the pride if they were females. So very much a stronger force on all fronts, in all aspects of their lives. Even when it comes to declaring territory vocally, roaring, a coalition roaring together is going to be a deterrent to any other lion that wants to come into the area to investigate. Whereas one male lion calling is likely to attract attention from another male. The male is likely to maybe come in and challenge. But as long as there's a coalition of males, they're pretty much ensured that there's not likely going to be much competition coming around. Good news from Kath is that there's some giraffe, a journey of giraffe down at Gari Dam. While I'm just scratching around here trying to find out what it is that is troubling these impala, Kat's going to just show you some of the giraffe at Gari Dam for the time being. Anybody's looking for Tulamiti this afternoon? At the moment there are 7 at Gari Dam. Sounds fantastic. Giraffe at Gari Dam playing on the dam wall. Just going to sit and watch these impala for a minute, and also we're going to be listening for a sec. If anything, this ram is still displaying a little bit of rutting behavior. Let me move forward just to scratch. Just his posturing. Putting his head down, showing the females his horns, moving them around. That kind of behavior will stop. Let's just follow them. Sorry, Herman. Just move a bit forward again. Don't recall seeing this small group. Whether they split up from another group because of something in the area is another question. It wasn't too clear what startled them or what made them behave that way from when we were on the other side of the dam. Not picking up any signals here, no birds shouting. That could have just been the ram being rambunctious. Let's go see that hippo. We'll listen from there. Reluctant to go back into the bush. I was hanging out in a bit of a tight-knit group, so I think we'll just ignore them, pretend we're ignoring them so that they relax from our presence. See if we can hippo too far in the inlet. Might have to go in there to have a look at them. There's one of the hippos here too. Three, 4, 5, 6. Oh, can't get that one. Maybe he's too.
Yeah,
Just behind the tree for you.
no, I can get him.
One of them was displaying. I'd like to spend a little bit of time here just in case there is something around. Maybe one of Karula's boys. News was that Karula made a kill somewhere on Biffleshoek on the driveway into Gallagher camp, and evidently a male leopard stole the kill. That tends to be the habits of Yambile Jordan, who's the father of the boys. But as yet didn't sound like anybody's found any of the cats. Maybe if I go a bit forward we'll get to see those. They're moving around a little bit. Maybe I can roll a bit forward. Yeah? Time of the day when hippos start getting a little bit restless after resting up all day, sleeping, getting ready to head out foraging for the night. Might even bring them back to Gowrie Dam. Can't stay focused on one of these individuals. In and out of up and under. Youngster throwing his head back, giving us a threat display, practicing for when he's bigger. Or she. There we go, another display. Almost. Let's see a hippo breach like a whale. There we go. Come on, do something fun for us. Impala have relaxed somewhat. They're starting to browse now, as opposed to graze. Somewhat of a mixed feeder, the impala. They browse and they graze. I wonder if that could be little Bob. Just gone under. Everybody's favourite little hippo. Just been a francolin chirping further up. I think let's take a ride. We'll head up this road. Hippo Road. Hippo Trail Road. Hippo Walk-Up Road. Hippo Pathway. The road that the hippos walk on. Road.
Yes, say quickly. I have to line
Yes,
this up.
some francolins that have been shouting up there.
Okay.
Okay. Maybe nervous about something that they can't see. They're just nervous because of the weather. Hope there is something. So I can't see anything, can't hear anything. There are no other alarm calls. Sounds of anything. Maybe I'll do a big loop around this top corner, this northeastern corner of our traversing area. We'll do a big loop around here and see if there's anything. we can pick up in terms of tracks or other signs if there's been a predator in the area.
Sorry, I was trying to give you an update earlier, but I don't think you copied me. I was on the KFC highway. Okay, no, I thought so. I thought you were far. That's the weekend. I went to a little bit of a tour. I'm now going to go... Wait. I'm going to go put in a stick. Like a... We're far from similar, right? Yeah, but quite far. And I'm well, I know at the moment, but they were not all start. It's a letter, man. You have to go some Solano, right? The last time I did was when that's a good up and letter and take it up again. Solano to around level 4. It's a letter. I like to set it a bit.
Oh, good, not yet. Smacking myself in the ear. Okay, just kind of listen to what's going on with the lion. Johnny talking to one of the other guys, I guess maybe a guy from Nkoro. Talking about sticks and sololos, I don't know that fried. Kat, can you cut to Gary, please? Just need to cut to Gary if you're still with us. Okay, I got a problem with the antenna. Hang on a sec.
Hi there, everyone. Catherine here in FC. Mark's just jumped off the vehicle quickly to help Herman fix our antenna at the back of the vehicle. It just seems to have come a bit loose. So as soon as we've just fixed that up, we'll be back and ready to go.
Welcome back, folks. We just had to do a quick modification to the antenna and we're ready to roll again. Those of you who've just joined us, whoops, welcome to Safari TV. Welcome to the PM Safari this afternoon. We're riding around an area known as Djuma Game Reserve in the Sabi Sands, and my name is Marc, and on camera this afternoon is Herman with Catherine directing back in Final Control. A lot of questions coming in to Final Control at safari.tv. I think that's time for me to address some of those. If I could come back as any animal. That's from Linda. Hi, Linda. If I could come back as any animal, what would that animal be? Are we talking animals, or am I allowed to choose a bird? I think I'd be an eagle if I could. The concept of three-dimensional freedom is what appeals to me, and the closest I've ever come to three-dimensional freedom has been diving. Diving on a reef is fun because you've got all the beautiful corals and sponges and anemones and reef life, but there's nothing like diving in water that is exceptionally deep. It's like being in space, like a wall dive where the wall drops down several hundred feet, and although you're not going that deep, you're only going down to about 20, maybe maximum 20-25 meters. The best dives are all between 10 and 20 meters anyway. Some of them even less than 10. But on a wall dive where there's a wall, diving on a wall is the closest I've ever come to having three-dimensional freedom, and that is being able to move up, down, sideways, any which way. And of course the ocean or water is not our medium. I'm sure it'd be nice to come back as a whale or a dolphin or a manta. But no, I think an eagle, to be able to have that kind of freedom up there, I think that is got to be one of them. But then of course, if we're talking mammals or animals, I'm sure I will come back as an elephant one day. Maybe I was an elephant in the past life. I think my totem animal is an elephant. Yes, I think so. I don't think I'd want to be a lion. I don't think I want to be any predator. Only because of the trouble that predators go through. Fighting, vying for territory, all that sort of stuff. No tracks here. I think we'll go back up to Cheetah Cut Line. Maybe I'd come back as a Tyrannosaurus or a Triceratops. If I were to come back as an animal, I would want it to be a few thousand years ago, before the industrial era, before even Stone Age. Although the Acheulean age goes back a couple of 100,000 years. I guess no matter when I come back, I'd have to deal with hominids as an animal. But at least if I'm going to come back, let it be at a time period, time frame when the humans are only on the uprise. It must be so hard being an animal today with the rise of the human population. habitat destruction. I think we have to really think about it. If we had to put ourselves in the mind of an animal, if we had to put ourselves in the place of an animal right now, and have to contend with the likes of deforestation, the burning, the slashing and burning of the Amazon, the polluting of the oceans, not only from the likes of oil spills, but ships, or whole countries just dumping all their waste out at sea. These vast islands of flotsam, refuse, plastic. I don't think any animal in the world, well, there are probably a few, some remote regions. Pretty much every animal in the world is affected in some way by the perhaps ignorance, but also carelessness of us human beings. And I think we've come a tremendously far way. I think we've from where we were even 10 years ago, I think we've come far in trying to address the problems and trying to deal with all these issues. I don't believe it's too little too late. I believe there's always a good time to start. Perhaps a little bit more effort needs to be put into it from business and industry and commerce. None of these concepts would survive without the natural world, yet their very actions pretty much preclude, or rather affect, the natural world in a negative way. But yes, I think the world is slowly coming right. So how I got to that from favorite animal, or coming back as an animal, only my brain can tell you. Heading south along Cheetah Cut Line. Passing Central Road. What is that? Giraffe? Was a giraffe here. Must have headed back east. Okay, so evidently a bunch of questions about lion that are coming in. I'll stop and be able to answer them better for you. Just want to get a little bit of a view down Cheetah Cut Line before I stop. You don't have much of a view from here. Give me a question, please. Lion. Now that we've got a bit of a view down Cheetah Cut Line, just want to give me a chance to stand around and outside the vehicle and actually listen for a little bit, and at the same time be able to talk to you and look at you and answer a couple of questions that are coming in. We still have sort of a few questions on the same subject, and one of the questions coming in from Rita and Ruth is regarding the recent activity that has been going on. The recent activity, I think, is putting it mildly, with the lion. Now, Rita, Ruth, I don't know if you remember, but a number of months ago we had 5 young male lions. They weren't young as in the youngster in the Kahumas or the young male with the Styx pride. They were young males. They were adult, but younger than the Mapogos. And we had them coming in at around Twin Dams area. So we have seen these lions before. We also did see them, or not we, because I wasn't here at the time. There was a time a couple of years ago, probably when they were sub-adults, having just maybe recently left the pride and recently become nomadic. Excuse me. They evidently killed a buffalo here on Western Gowrie. I was probably before my time. I didn't see that. However, these 5 males were roaring up on Nkoro, somewhere near, I think, Nkoro Pan. I'm probably going to have to pause here because we've got a vehicle coming up behind us, and it's a private vehicle. I'm not too sure how many private vehicles are allowed to be driving on a road like this. Excuse me a moment. Sorry to interrupt my answer here. I guess I should move. Excuse me a second. Just pull off the road. I wasn't expecting anybody. Somebody obviously driving without a radio, I think. I don't know. Hi.
Hello.
How are you?
Well, thanks.
Good, thanks. You're welcome.
I'm doing the vegetation map.
Are you doing a vegetation map?
Yeah.
Interesting. Will we be able to get access to that?
Yes, certainly. We van der Berg from myself transport.
Mark Weiner. Herman Gerber.
So we basically just go and check everything up now, but it's almost there.
Yeah. Are you taking sample areas or sort of?
The whole Salby sand, and then we extrapolate it
Okay.
from satellite imagery.
Yeah. And then are you going to be doing like Timbavati and other reserves as well, or only Sabi Sand?
No, there's only.
Okay. Well, baie geluk.
Yeah, thank you. Good fun.
Okay. Gentlemen are doing a vegetation survey. These canopies made by the same people, my Land Rover's canopy. Anyway, yes, lion. So, where was I? I know where I was, I think. See, I don't only interrupt myself, I get real interruptions sometimes. Interesting one. Doing a vegetation survey. Mapping the vegetation of the Sabi Sand is going to be a very, very interesting GIS map to look at one of these days. Ruth, Rita, these 5 males were calling at Nkoro, and unfortunately for them, this was in the morning. This would be day before yesterday, early morning. These 5 males were calling. The Mapogos heard them, the 2 Mapogos, which were Mr. T and Kinky Tail. They heard them calling. They went running in to find out what the noise was about. These males intruding on their territory, and I'll switch that off. And there was a fight that ensued in the morning, and during that fight, the 2 Mapogos got the upper hand on the 5 somehow. Maybe they surprised them. That was when legs were broken, and that was when they killed one of those 5 males in the morning. Somehow things changed during the day. They split up during the day, and then later on in the evening there was a little bit of movement. The 5 males, or rather the 4 remaining males, moved elsewhere and were calling once again. The Mapogos heard them and came running in. Evidently Mr. T, no, rather Kinky Tail, just ran straight into all 4 of them, and he came off second best. Evidently all 4 of them managed to, I won't go into graphic detail, but he fought like a trooper, as from what I understand. With a broken back and broken legs, he was still fighting, and the fight went on for a considerable amount of time. But he was killed, and Mr. T was wounded somewhat. He ran off to the south. He was later seen running into Mala Mala, and so he hasn't been seen again since, obviously because he's down at another part of the Sabi Sand. And I'm not too sure about how well the communication goes between those guys down there and other guys. I can't comment on that at all. We're up in the northern part of the Sabi Sand, slightly different group dynamics up here. The 4 evidently did feed on Kinky Tail, and hyenas came in and polished off the bones and things. So actually, evidently, there's nothing really left of once big male lion that ruled over this area with his brothers. It's just one of those wonderful, well, wonderful on one hand, wonderful in the sense that this is nature in its raw. This is what we are here for. This is what we, as Safari TV, ostensibly are here to film, is these kind of incidents. Unfortunately, that's a once in a lifetime kind of incident where you have the interaction between 2 large coalitions. Now, even if Mr. T and Kinky Tail weren't a large coalition at the time, it was only the 2 of them. The rest of the males, wherever they may be, however many males there may still be of them, they are still a formidable force. And for these 5 males to have come in and perhaps assume that they could take over the territory is something that is very, very seldom seen, especially with the numbers of lion that we're talking about. It's been seen on numerous occasions. I've seen it on occasion where you have one dominant male in an area and you have one other male coming in and ousting him, and it's a simple takeover under those circumstances. The male that is being ousted, eventually he gives in and he runs away and he loses condition and he eventually dies. I've seen that here in the Sabi Sand, I've seen it in Botswana, I've seen it in Tanzania. However, the size of coalitions that are occurring nowadays is something that is quite new, and it does have huge implications. It has implications for the resident prides that if these males are not as aggressive as the Mapokos, that they will not, maybe, I don't know, I'm speculating now, I've got to fill in, I've got huge gaps in my brain, in my records, in my files about the Mapokos, about all the lion in the area, because we see them so seldom. And it's one thing to read up all the information that everybody else has posted. It's another thing to actually live with these animals and understand their movements every day. And when we don't live with them, it's a little bit hard to really understand just from reading things. It's like the guys down south can read everything there is to be read about Karula and the boys, but they will never understand them unless they're here and they're watching them. And the way my brain works is when I'm living with lion and I'm studying lion, which I have done in many different reserves, seeing the same individuals time and time again, one doesn't only get an idea of what the pride structure is about, but you start learning the individual characteristics and the individual characters of each lion within a pride, and that makes it a lot different. It makes it a lot easier to keep track of things over years. I can read papers about the Sticks and the Kahumas and the Mapokos, and it's not like for some reason my brain doesn't retain it because I can't picture it. I can't relate to those individuals because I just don't see them enough. So as far as what is going to happen now, it's up to Mother Nature herself. It's up to the winds of change that have just blown. It's up to the powers of the universe. It's up to the lion themselves. There's absolutely no way of guessing where these 5, or rather, I keep calling them 5. I forget that one of them is no longer. But it's up to these 4 guys what they're going to do. Whether they do stick around and take over the territory, whether they are going to affect the females in a negative way and fight with them and maybe kill them, as the Mapokos did. It's quite possible that they don't, that these females are now going to come into estrus and they're going to have cubs by these 4, and these 4 are going to hold a strong territory, and it's going to be a little bit more, there's going to be a greater semblance of order and normalcy in the lion population in the northern Sabi Sands now, because we have a more cohesive unit of lion that are maybe taking over and going to be in charge. And under those circumstances, they're going to allow cubs to grow. They're going to give cubs the protection and the opportunity to be able to grow to maturity, whereas this hasn't really happened. There haven't been new cubs in this part of the world for quite a long time. I'd say Sandy Patch was the last new cubs in this part of the world, and sadly they don't seem to be around anymore. So it's anybody's guess what can happen now. I know that a lot of people are very keen on finding answers, wanting answers. Okay, so what is going to happen with this, and what is going to happen with the four, what's going to happen with the kumas? None of us can tell you. I don't care whether it's a lion expert who studied lions all their lives. There's nobody on earth that can predict or can maybe say what is going to happen with the lion population. And then this is what I'm hoping is going to keep us all glued to the lion population, to this the ongoing saga of what is happening here in the northern Sabi Sands. This is where we, as Safari TV, come into it. We might not see them very often. Who knows? There might be changes in that direction, in that lion haven't occupied this area for quite a long time. There's some good dams, there's good game, there's impala, there's kudu. The buffalo come through here, they're resident buffalo, big bulls, and certainly enough food around here to keep a pride going. And the area that is Western Gowrie in this part of Djuma that we traverse over is a very, very small area compared to the size area that is the lion's territory. It would be nice, though, if these new males do come in and they do incorporate this as more of a frequent visiting area, that they do frequent it more in the future, and that when we do have lion, instead of walking across Western Gowrie within a couple of hours during the night, they actually get to stay here for a couple of days, and we get to watch them, and we get to learn them, and we get to start learning the individuals more than we have in the past. I know there are a lot of you that watch the other cameras, and a number of you that keep up with all the ranges in the Sabi Sand about the lions all over the place, and it's quite a shame to say that there are people that live in the United States that know more about the lion here in the Sabi Sands than I do, because they're in touch with all the guides in different reserves. It's not very easy for us, as not only as Safari TV, but it's just not very easy for us to keep in touch with all the other game ranges around here, and their updates on what's happening with the lion. But we can only hope that as the days go on, every day that we wake up, every day that we leave camp, there's this anticipation, there's this excitement that maybe we're going to pick up lion tracks, maybe the lion have come onto Western Gowrie, and maybe we're going to see something new, maybe we're going to see something different to what we have been seeing in terms of just the few sticks or the few kahumas. It's going to take time. It's going to be, I think I could stand exactly here in a year's time with the combretums going yellow and the marula leaves falling off the trees, and it might be exactly the same as it is now in terms of the status quo of the lion. Might be different. There might be cubs. So that's what I want you all to keep viewing for, because this is what we are here for. This is, for me, one of the reasons I'm here, is to be able to try and do this. We don't have access to lion, as I said, but we do have access to leopard, and it's watching Karula and her boys growing up over the last 18 months that has been absolutely phenomenal, and it's the same kind of process that we want to try and establish with lion. So keep tuned, stay tuned, keep on watching. Cheryl was asking me to repeat something. I haven't the faintest idea what I was talking about, because I can't place. No, I'm sorry, Cheryl. Maybe try and put it into context for what it is that I said something that Cheryl wants me to repeat, and I'm sorry, Cheryl, but I don't know where in my last little diatribe I need to repeat. I'm not sure which part of it. Maybe, I don't know, if you can be more specific, but other than that, sorry. The brain, that's a funny way of working. I get these thought processes, these And once it's gone through, I can't remember what I said 5 minutes ago. Well, I can, but to try and repeat what I've just said, it's impossible. I'll never be able to repeat what I've just said because the thought has to fire synapses. Anyways, let's find, and we've got another question online. Adjoy in Missouri, asking whether the Styx Pride will accept these new males into their pride. Yeah, they will. I mean, it's not so much a case of accepting. It's more a case of when the dominant males are ousted and the new males come in, they take over the territory, so they technically take over the females. The females will be probably a little bit aggressive at first and a little bit grumpy, and they will need, these males will need to prove themselves. Lion are quite phenomenal, or lionesses should I say. They go into like a false estrus sometimes. Well, let me try and put it as simple as I can. They will test the males to make sure that these males are strong enough to hold sway over this territory long enough that these females can raise cubs and that these cubs are going to be safe. And there are different things that they will do. They will delay, although they'll come into estrus fairly soon after their cubs have been lost, or if it's just time for them to come into estrus. But they might not conceive immediately because these males have to prove that they can, and they're willing to, and that they are going to declare this their territory, that they're going to defend this as their territory. Because it's no good these lionesses coming to estrus and these new males suddenly mating with them, these lionesses accepting these males, and then these males are actually just nomadic and they decide to wander off, and then you've got pregnant lionesses, and then a new male, single male perhaps, comes in and takes over the territory and kills all their newborn cubs, and then they've got to start the process over again. And that is something that nature somehow has built in mechanisms to ensure that when there is a takeover and when new males do come into a territory, that there's a short period of time, despite the fact that females might come into estrus, there is a short period of time when they will let the males mate with them, but they won't conceive, and that'll help them decide whether these males are good enough and whether these males are going to stick around. It's got a lot to do with how these guys hunt, whether these guys are going to help them hunt, whether these guys are going to pull down buffalo and bring the females in. We're just going to have to wait and see. Could go the other way. They might not accept them at all. Can't tell you. It's the mind of a lion that we can't read, so I guess we're going to have to wait and see on that account. I'm sorry I can't be more specific. A little bit of color coming into the sky. I think we need to find a place to do something about that. We're going to make our way down south on Cheetah Cut Line, see if there's anything down the bottom there. Time for a koi around the neck. Warm it up. It's a little bit chilly. I don't know how much of a sunset there will be. There's a gap underneath the cloud, so the sun will peer underneath that. Richard! Good afternoon, Mr. Stoken. I see something. see a rhino. Gonna zoom in on that. Got it. Let's rock and roll. Big rhino down the bottom. Well, we're on our way to the rhino. Richard's asking, have I seen or do I know of hyena and lion besides chasing vultures off of a kill, do I know of them actually catching and eating a vulture? No, I don't. I've known of lion to swipe at vulture. I mean, lion despise is not really a word we can use in nature. Lion dislike vultures on their carcasses. And you have these lion that kill a big animal and it's in the sun, and they, typical cats, they go and lie down in the shade, and during the day when they got full bellies and they're upside down, the vultures come down and start making their way towards the kill. You're always going to have at least one of those cats getting up, and as full and as lazy as they may seem, they're going to be chasing those vultures away as soon as those vultures get anywhere near the meat, despite being as full as they are. And although I haven't seen it with my own eyes, I have heard of lion swiping at vultures and killing them, but not eating them. I'm not aware of hyenas really chasing vultures off. I've seen hyenas feeding with vultures. They seem to just coexist. So no, I can't say that I know of any incidents where they've actually eaten a vulture. Oh, Greg, sorry, radio is down. How are you doing?
Good morning, how are you?
Oh, bright top of the morning to you.
Good morning to you. Where are you calling from?
No, I'm on Cheetah Cut Line.
Okay, yeah, I'm just catching around now. I'm listening, I'm making way from the stage down the course quarantine. I'm not close to the fever at Colorado.
Okay, copied. Just found two in Combi on Cheetah Cut Line, Mumba Junction.
Yeah, I'm not up in the getting this system combo with bandit.
Where are they, Texas?
Sorry, come again?
What's that lock?
Just southeast of, southeast of,
Okay, copied, thanks. Quite alert, these two today. We've been seeing a lot of these two rhino of late. They've been sleeping a lot on Central Road Junction, coming up to junction with Drakensberg, also at Guaripan. Big male, big bull. I think younger cow.
To the west of Paul Kruger's camp.
Maybe you can sneak a bit closer now that they've heard us approaching. Before I start up, let's just see where he's moving to. Different days, different weather, different conditions, that they're a lot more relaxed. I think on account of the weather today, it's a little bit cool. Been a bit of a breeze blowing. Leaves are making a lot of noise. For a rhino with that kind of hearing, just leaves blowing off of the trees and rustling through the grass are enough to make them nervous. And the strangest thing, of course, is they don't really have any natural predators. I mean, there's nothing out here that's going to be hunting either one of these two. They're too big. baby or newborn rhino are vulnerable to the likes of hyena or lion, maybe. Not very easy for these predators to get to an infant. Female rhinos are very, very protective over their young. But with their relatively poor eyesight at night is when hyenas would take a chance. And I've seen film footage of a hyena clan. It took several days to eventually wear a mother down, or wear the calf down to the point where the mother had no choice but to leave it. When he lifts his head like that, you can see how prominent that nuchal muscle is. Just above his shoulders, help him carry the weight of his head. Their relaxed posture is with their head down, so it's only really when they're looking around and hearing things that they lift their head like that. Sticks Pride, east of Cruise Camp, near Buffelsogari Cut Line, which is probably way east of where we are now. Quite a brute, this big boy. Gonna just move Herman, or maybe we don't have to. We'll see where he's going. He might be coming past us, coming this way, heading into. Go back. Or at least turn a little bit, make it easier for the camera.
Maybe they're going to come out.
Yeah, that's why I was trying to sort of turn a little bit. Actually, if we just go forward, turn around and come back facing this way, maybe he'll think we're driving away. Pretend we're leaving. Like the rhino's going to fall for that, no? Look over this little slope down the other side. We'll come back. When we come back, you'll be back on the road. I think, I hope.
Just on the big part of Cruise Camp, crossing into Switchwood and along to the boundary south. Thanks very much. There are 4 of them. They're just on the 5 break, moving south and Switchwood. I'm going to pick back up then.
Sure. Fort Cheetah moving south into Torchwood. probably going back to that soft patch of sand for a rest. That soft patch of sand where we've seen them lying, their tracks of them lying down on a number of occasions now since they've been hanging out here on fire break. On the cut line. Using low range, I can take my feet off of the pedals and the vehicle is actually now just driving itself under its own torque at the same speed that they're walking. So we're just going to idle behind them while they're walking along. Standing on another sandy patch that's very soft sand, great for rhinos to roll in and lie on. They like to be able to get an indentation in the sand. It sort of helps fit their body.
One at the back of my face.
Yeah, I think so. Looks like it.
Other one is definitely my daughter.
Yeah, that sized animal is a big male, I'm sure. Gosh, nature is so wonderful. I'm just going to get back onto the road. Okay. Andrew, come in. Andrew, I'm curious, how far are those Kankan from those in Kombi?
We carry on about, they're still carrying on south, along through the Park Road. So the next Kombi is on double through that place with Catherine Lake. That's the one of Chris Campbell.
Okay, copy, thanks.
just cross into our property. Copy that, thank you. I'm out of the
Okay.
ground. Johan and Texan and Loppe. Thanks, Andrew. What's good to corner? The way they're moving, if they don't turn around much, they will end up there. If they're on a grid of Park Road.
Hi there, Ellen. In the US. Sorry, Herman. Let's go forward a bit.
Okay.
Keep getting it in low range. Off the clutch too quickly. Ellen wanting to know. Well, Ellen says she's heard hippos making a noise. Wants to know if rhino have any vocalizations or any noises that they make. Wanting to know about natural predators, enemies. Ellen, most sounds of adult rhino are sort of mostly snorting noises. They don't really make much noise as youngsters. They've got a very high-pitched squeak when they're newborn. These two are getting quite used to us now, allowing to us to get fairly close. Try and get. Hello, children. Okay, here we go. Relax, Mr. R. Natural enemies, humans. Now, most of the world thinks that the horn is ground down into a powder and used as an aphrodisiac, when in fact that's only a very small percentage of the use of rhino horn. There are many other medicinal uses that are used in Chinese medicine, but still, that still doesn't form the bulk of rhino horn market. It tends to be more the Middle East, Yemen, where coming of age, a young man is given a sacred dagger, and that dagger handle is made of rhino horn for some reason. And I think that possibly constitutes the bulk of the trade in rhino horn. As well as, of course, the medicinal uses. There's no proven benefit to rhino horn. There's nothing in it that could be used medicinally. You might as well just chew your own fingernails, for that matter. Made of a very similar substance. Compressed hair, if anything. So it's amazing how a species like this can be brought almost to the brink of extinction for what people think it does. I mean, it's like vultures at the moment. Vultures are going through a huge decline here in South Africa because of what we call muti killings. Muti is the sort of the local word for medicine or magic. And a lot of local tribes, a lot of indigenous people believe that the vultures have visions of the future because they can see so far, because they can find carcasses. They can wake up in the morning and they can lift off in the air and then fly straight to a lion kill. And people believe that they have visions of the future, and that's how they know where the lion kill is. And to kill a vulture and consume part of it, or yeah, let's not go into that. But yes, it's especially now with the Soccer World Cup coming in, people want to know what the outcome of matches are going to be. And somehow they believe that vultures are going to give them the answer, or eating parts thereof. It's the same as in China. People will go into a medicine man's shop with even a common cold, and he'll take out several bottles and pour out a little bit of this and a little bit of that into a paper bag, and that will be the remedy. And sadly, the way the human mind works, because we are such a psychosomatic species, if you believe it's going to work, it probably will work. It's how strong belief can be. How strong having a belief in something can actually make it manifest itself. It's not a case of seeing it to believe it, it's a case of believing it to see it. Especially when that belief is so strong. Similar substance as the hoof of an antelope, or even their own toenails, rhino's toenails. Keratin. That lion I just heard.
Yep.
Quite far, might be even further south than Gary Main, but we could always try. Head down, make our way there. There hasn't been much of a sunset, folks. I know it was a little bit earlier when I was talking about lion, but there wasn't. There was a little bit of a pink tinge to the edge of some of this cloud, but no sign of a decent sunset tonight. New moon. Rosh Chodesh. Soon, I think. Tomorrow, maybe. Big sigh from that big bull. Welcome to Safari TV. Those of you who have only joined us recently, my name is Mark, presenting this afternoon. Herman on camera, and Catherine back in final control. And I've been answering questions that have been coming in from all over the world. The wonderful thing about this live Safari TV is getting emails in from people all over the world asking questions and making comments, and me being able to respond in real time within minutes. And that is the beauty of this kind of interactive viewing. And if you have any questions, you can send them into final control at safari.tv. TV as in television. Tango Victor. Nice to have these two accepting us now. Happily grazing only a few yards away. Maybe 20 feet maximum. Water. Well, we are losing light. as the day ends, and rhino are not an animal that we like to light up with a spotlight. They are diurnal animals, very strictly. Well, not so strictly actually, it's just that they are diurnal animals. And being large and bulky, one doesn't want to shine a light in their eye and get them startled running off with these bright spots in their eyes, crashing into trees.
That's where I am, yeah? I'm coming slowly towards the road. So that's my suspicion.
Ooh! Cool. Fantastic. I think we should go and find him. Okay. I think we need to go to Gari Dam.
Do it.
Might be Yambilu Yodan or one of the other boys. Catherine has just told me she's found a leopard at the dam. So we're gonna make... To where? Yes, I thought you were. Can you tell me where the sound is, up at the dam or here? Well, it's getting a bit dark now to see these rhino, and as great as it is that they're slowly grazing towards me, really magnificent animals, and just a really touching moment to have them so close. But I'm going to head on to Gari Dam. I think it's important that we get there as soon as we can. And so, hope you've all got your duct tape. We've got a distance to cover. Bye bye you two. Thanks for sitting with us, and thank you. Hey, look at this, they're right next to me now. That's okay, I'm leaving now. Okay, copy. So we're leaving these rhino, we are heading back towards Gari Dam. We're going to go find that leopard, and hopefully we can stay with it for a while. Okay, nice spotlight. The beauty of a camera at the dam, they can keep an eye on things for us while we're out here, give us news. Okay, copied. Station's leaving Kombi, still on Chita Kata near Mamba Road. Open lock. Yeah, copy that, sorry. Didn't like that sound. So, hope we can maybe catch up with this leopard. It'll be fun trying to find him. Heading down Central Road. And a ways to go. Cool. There shouldn't be anybody with those cheetah now. Okay, thank you. Thanks, Cass is filling me in on where this leopard is, and hopefully we'll be able to pick him up, or if he's walking on one of the roads, to be able to follow his tracks. Greg coming. Call him Johnny. Johnny coming. A little scrub here. Yeah, off you go. The road. Good child. Thais, hi there again.